Hello, it is Sunday, January 29th, 2023 at 14:03 Eastern Time, USA. I'm Mitch Miller. This is my video journal. I'm wearing my Realtree camo style tie-dye shirt made by Bill Earl of Bill Earl Tattoo and matching embroidered Iron City hat, Realtree that was custom made. Might be the only one in existence. So those made at the embroidery shop. Those may be the sponsors. I don't know. I wouldn't turn down Pittsburgh Brewing Company if they wanted to sponsor our podcast. I don't think they're ready to stand up to the Shell cracker plant yet, though. So their emissions and water pollution might not be up to snuff. They do have a brand new facility though, so it should be. Anyhow, Bill Earl Tattoo. So I have a couple challenges. I'm going to start this video journal episode with a challenge and end it with a challenge. So the first challenge is over last year, around this time, I got a tattoo on my right calf of my Allegheny County Jail prisoner number when I was in solitary confinement in Roman numerals. The challenge is this: if any intelligence agency out there in the world can deliver to me my numbers in any of the other facilities I've been inducted to, any of the other facilities I've been imprisoned in or incarcerated in, that whoever, or this is open to any hackers out there. If a hacker can show me proof that that was my number, because this is the only number I can verify. I have a wristband that came from Allegheny County Jail that my prisoner number was on. If a hacker comes to me and can prove in some manner that this was the number that they labeled me with at, say, my at the mental hospital in the Czech Republic, or UPMC Northwest, or any of those, I will contact Bill Earl. We will either travel to him or he'll come here, and the hacker or agent of the intelligence agent can, as Bill guides their hand, tattoo the Roman numeral equivalent of that number on my right calf in a list going downwards. It'd be nice to go in order, but we can figure that out. So that's my challenge. What were my numbers? I don't know them. I know one, and that's what I got. I want to talk about a little bit of stuff I learned while I was staying in Utica this past week. First of all, I spoke with my grandfather Holmes, my mother's father. I never really knew that much about. I knew he repaired TVs. I knew he worked on radio equipment, but he worked for a company called Syntonic, Syntonic, Syntonic. He had his own shop with 3 employees basically under him, and they had contracts with, from what he said, the state troopers, the game commission, the PA Game Commission, Pennsylvania Railroad. I guess it operated something out of Oil City. He went out on railroad engines and worked on the radio equipment there, among in the police in Franklin and stuff like that. I think his shop was in Franklin, Pennsylvania. So it kind of all fits into place with this radio controlled world that we have, that my grandfather would have worked on radio equipment, been exposed to that, has inner knowledge of that, and it brings better focus to one of my favorite bands, the Beths, out of New Zealand, their album and their song Expert in a Dying Field, where that person is fixing a piece of equipment. And a little inside knowledge here, you guys didn't realize that he's actually rigging up a kill switch in that piece of equipment in that music video. Right? Kill switch Mitch fans? Anyhow, my grandfather had contracts with it, and I guess he helped install the first 911 system in Venango County and Mercer County, which is why I say we should have landlines in every home that can automatically ping the location of where, as soon as you pick up the receiver, 911 system knows where that call is coming from pretty much instantly. Instead of mobiles, which you have to geolocate. They're getting quicker and better at that, but it's still not 100% perfect like a landline. The second thing I want to talk about is Ken Bryan. It's looking like I'm going to help out at his campground this year. I'll get into more of that in future episodes. We're going to make it a sustainable campground with solar panels for electric hookups. It's going to be great, and I would encourage any hackers or intelligence agents that want to buy an RV, wire it up like a smart home, and move from campground to campground. We're working on a platform to allow you to do that. Anyhow, Ken Bryan, his wife Beth Bryan, whose maiden name is Botts. I was the power went out on Wednesday night when I went up to Utica. Me and her brother Mike Botts helped hook up a generator to Catherine Marshall, Doc Marshall's daughter-in-law, her house, because it does take on water and it needed the sump pump to run. So we hooked up the generator, drove in and get some food because I hadn't eaten while it was running. And I was talking to Mike Botts, and he was talking about his brother Joe Botts, severely mentally ill man, on a lot of medication. I met him multiple times when he was still in good health, and nice guy. But it's Beth Bryan and Mike Botts' brother Joe. He was talking about how he just saw him. His muscles are all atrophied. He couldn't even hold his head up. His neck muscles weren't even allowed to hold his head up. And I asked Mike, I said, do you think it's the antipsychotic medication? Do you think it's the years of that? And he said, yeah, but I said, because I worry about that. And he said, well, you're a lot more high functioning than my brother. He told me that they took him to some facility down in Maryland, top of the line, because they had really good insurance. And they basically tore him down, did electroshock, Thorazine, all kinds of stuff, and rebuilt him up. So he was on a lot of probably interesting experimental antipsychotic medication. Hopefully this doesn't happen to me. Hopefully I'm on a low enough dose of this antipsychotic medication that at age 60, 65, 70, my muscles aren't atrophied and I'm not able to move. I'm wheelchair bound. But it is a fate that might befall me, and I think about it and I consider it, and I hope it doesn't happen. But this is why you should pay people, anybody on antipsychotic medication, Social Security benefits. That's why I collect them, because I don't know how long my life is going to be and how long of a decent life I'm going to have, quality of life I'm going to have, because of antipsychotic medication. And again, my theory is that wireless waves cause some of these mental health issues, cause some people to have to go on these antipsychotics, and they're not tested for a lifetime to know how many people are just going to be atrophied and totally disabled by the time they reach 60. That being said, that's why I am covertly seeking physical intimacy while I still have capacity over my body. My spouse is not into physical intimacy that much, and I crave it slightly, not overly. I've become used to this type of relationship, but I would never step out. Let me say this, going forward, I would never step out on my wife, and I'm not seeking that. but maybe I might try to enter into an open type of situation with her if she would have that, or get divorced and try to have more of an intimate connection with others as my facilities are still with me. But those are things I think about, and I just want you to have the psychology of the driving factors of why I'm kind of pushing in that direction. You look at it and say, I only have so much time, and I might be limited because of these pharmaceuticals I've been put on. Anyhow, that's the most I've gone into my relationship, I think. And this is a video journal. I kind of intended it to be published, but maybe it'll never be published, and I can just go back, review it, and publish the things that I want to do on the podcast. So there's a lot to go through, and I started to try to go through it, go back through my video journal. At my parents' house, I took a USB that has all of my video journal and other files, like Hurrying to Florida, the podcast episodes, up to my parents to see if their DVD player would play the USB drive, because it had a port for that. So I plugged it in. Now supposedly their internet is shut off, even though it registers as the wireless router is turned on. It does not pick up any internet, so there is some kind of signal going on in that house, and that's why I did this, to test exactly how shut off my parents' internet is with everything plugged in. I can easily unplug everything and know that the internet is off in that house, and the Wi-Fi and everything, but I didn't do that when I was up there. Excuse me. I plugged a USB drive in. I tried to pull up the video journal. This type of .mov file, I think it is not compatible with that DVD player, so it did not play those videos, but it did play my Hurrying to Florida MP4 videos. It is compatible with that. I left that in up there at my parents' house, so if you want to try to hack my parents' house, have at it, get the files, distribute them as you see fit. And that's where I come into my final challenge as I close out this video journal. Again, to the hacker community, again to the intelligence community, I've proposed this thing where we find out how hackable vehicles are. As I said, I have to sell my Toyota Matrix. I might be inheriting or buying my grandpa's older Ford Explorer to drive for a little while. I think it'll play into what I'm trying to do with the campground and everything like that, to have that vehicle instead of getting a newer vehicle. So I'm borrowing my parents' vehicle. My mom will be back driving it this week and the next week, but then I'll have it probably through most of February into March, using it to come back and forth from Pittsburgh to Utica every week. Now I noticed on this, and Toyota, you should have sponsored me. I wrote to Toyota to sponsor me to keep their Toyota Matrix on the road and do a little podcast thing to promote Toyota, but they'd rather fund the U.S. figure skating championships and stuff like that, right? So let's see how hackable my parents' Toyota is. I hope you don't take over the autonomous features of the vehicle and cause me to have my life ended even earlier than what I think it's going to be, but that's the risk I take driving their vehicle. I noticed that it has its own computer system. I noticed that it has a USB port, and when I plugged my iPhone into it, it said iPod on the source mode of the computer. So it does pick up data from that port. It's not just a charging port. So when I get back to Utica on Tuesday, I'm going to pull that USB with this whole video journal except for this video and the next video I make tomorrow on it. I'm going to pull that out. I'm going to plug it into my parents' Toyota RAV4. I forget what year it is. It's like a 2020 or something. And or it might be a 2018, 2019, I don't know. I'm going to plug it into that port, and I'm going to leave it in there, and I'm going to drive to the airport on Thursday to pick up my mom. I'm going to pull it when I get to the airport. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to probably put these next two videos on it while I have it down here. And then once I resume taking over my parents' vehicle, I'm going to plug it in for the next month. And we'll see if you can get these video journal files, if you can hack the files on it. Let's see how hackable it is. At least that's all I know what to do right now, is to say here's files that somebody might want to see. When it's parked here in front of the house, can the Wi-Fi from the other houses hack into it and extract the files to satellites in different positions throughout the countryside, hack it in different ways to radio stations when I travel from down here up to Utica, hack it in different ways. I'll probably be driving it out to Seven Springs a couple times, so we'll see what, and can people just pull up and point a device at my parents' vehicle, hack into it, and extract files from it. That's what we'll see. We'll see how hackable that USB port actually is, how complex the computer system in the Toyota RAV4 is for releasing files, reading files, and if you want to produce a report about if you were able to get into the autonomous features, semi-autonomous features, that'd be interesting to see too. So that's the challenge. Get these video journal files and strategically release them to the people that need to see them. Join me next time when I talk. Join me tomorrow when I talk about a voting system for employees. It's the way I think all businesses should be managed, but it's a way that we can deploy it. And I know a lot of corporate leaders probably don't like me because I've proposed this Transparency and Importation Act that goes directly at private and publicly traded companies for transparency, so that we have an informed populace that buys products informed and doesn't support slave and indentured servant labor. And that's not all corporations' fault. That's predatory lending and banking practices lead to slavery and indentured servitude as much as low wages. So it's a complex system, and we have to go after these banks and these lending agencies as well, which have proposed ways to lend money through crowdfunding and things like that, that we can revolutionize those types of things. But for now, we're stuck with the banking system as it is, and it's not like the Fed's going to do anything, because they said we won't even touch global warming in any of our policies, right? So they don't care about predatory lending practices. They just care about raising those interest rates and making money for the billionaires. Anyhow, my point is, I went after the corporations. It's a give and take. I'm always spreading the love out of who I target and take on. So now it's time for the government. I have a way that a voting system can be put into place to cut the bureaucracy, to cut the bullcrap in the government, to slim down the government, and to get rid of employees that got a government job and knew they could never get fired. So it's a way, I think we start with the government, federal government, state governments, however, and then if it works, if it's proven, we have a more efficient government, better workers, better employees in our government, then it can be opened up to private companies and things like that. So join me tomorrow when I talk about that. Thanks for watching, and talk to you tomorrow.